The Racial Integrity Act of 1924 has everyone calling us black and conditioned us to do the same. But before this, Ham was the one considered black, not the Negro. They defined Ham as being the progenitor of the dark race, but not the Negro. Adam and the pre-Adamites. Adam was not the progenitor of the black or white race. Ham or Japheth. He was the forefather of the pure Semitic race and tribes, the reddish, copper-colored, and brown-skinned races. Slavery as it relates to the Negro or the African race. Adam was the red or copper-colored people. The secret doctrine. The Semites and the Jews are from the red Adam. Adam and the pre-Adamites. Adam is the father of the Semitic races. The term Adama or Adam doesn't mean one man, but a race of people, reddish in color. Many of the brown races today are derived from the original root race, which was red. They no longer exist, but stem from Atlantis. Human races and religion. The red race is the progenitor of the copper-colored or brown race. Here they have the American Indians as the remnants of these men. This is the American Negro's identity disguised. It goes further to say, Mother Africa is the birthplace of the black race. As stated before, this is Ham, not the Negro. In cycles before, the red ruled, then the black. Black would be the Egyptian or the Ethiopian. The red race is the Atlantean progenitor and their copper-colored brown-skinned offsprings. The first landing and the first indigenes. When explorer Verrazano came in contact with the indigenous of Virginia, he described them as dark in color, close in hue to the Ethiopians. The Bible does the same. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Human races and religion. The red race, along with other Atlantean races, occupied what we call Atlantis, which was America, Central America, and the 10 islands off the coast of Florida, according to the Egyptians. It also said the American Indian and the Aztecs, which these men came across in Mexico, are the remnant of the red race. The author says after the red race, the black race ruled the earth, not the degenerate Negro. Degenerate, to have fallen from a high state. So what state was the Negro in before he had fallen? 2nd Ezra 6:54. Adam, ruddy copper-colored skin, who was made Lord of all creatures and all things on the earth. From him we all come. These are the people chosen. This is a Semite speaking of all copper-colored and brown-skinned Semitic races. Songs of Solomon 5:10. My beloved is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000. Adam is the Adam Cadman before the fall, the celestial man, the Nazarene, the chiefest among 10,000, which is 10, which is one, unity. The completely illuminated, the white, the complete 10 lights of the tree of life, merged into unity, Atma, perfect unity with all things, the ruddy skin Adam. This Adam is in the image of God. This is what the copper-colored ruddy-skinned Negro has degenerated from and is considered dead today, but he and she has awakened. They teach you in school that this cycle went from east to west. It is a lie. It went from west to east. Problems of Atlantis. The Egyptian civilization progressed westward, but they were actually retracing the steps of their origin. Oriental Masonry. Prehistoric America was the original Egypt or Eagle Land. America, Atlantis, already stretched in an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. I spoke of Atlantis sinking, which is in the east during the 5th cycle, and Africa is in the west in the 6th cycle. The Emerald Tablets. This is Thoth speaking of the sinking of the major Atlantean islands and the Atlantean priests relocating to Kemet. Emerald Tablets. The land of the hairy barbarian is the land now known as Egypt. Kem was the first seat of learning established by the Atlanteans. From there they sent emissaries to other barbarous tribes in different parts of the earth's surface. This was the plan mentioned to use Kem as the central home of the new race wisdom. So in the 5th cycle, the Atlantean cycle, the race wisdom was in the east, America, Atlantis. In the 6th cycle, it moved west to Egypt. Now it's returning to America from the Middle East to the Middle West, where Adam will bring peace to humanity. This is why Adam is now regaining his consciousness. Samson's 7 locks is regrowing. He is to awaken, and so is the planet. Keys of Enoch 105. The new Atlantean centers will be activated from the Bermuda Triangle, the Great Salt Sea, Jerusalem, Hebron, the shifting of consciousness to the Americas, the next home of the dove, as the Father's program shifts from the Middle East to the Middle West. Shem has always been in America and stretched out in the Caribbean and scattered in other places. The secret doctrine. Monuments have been exhumed in Central America, which bear the representation of undoubted Negro heads and faces. How are such facts to be accounted for except on the Atlantean hypothesis? Adam is not the Hamite of Africa, but Africa is not wholly Hamite. Adam is not the Caucasian of Japhet. The Adam of the Bible is speaking to the Semitic Adam stemming from the red race. The Bible speaks of a dead people not knowing thyself, lost language, loss of self, and religion. Esoteric knowledge does the same with more detail and arts, but are very careful not to disclose clearly who those people are, because the job is for Adam, Shem, Solomon to find his way back home. They tell you who is not the Negro, but they never tell you clearly who is. Samson has to know thyself. How did the elect above 10,000 fall? This is the story of Samson, the Negro. Judges 16:16. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. She, Delilah, also referred to as Eve, Japhet, the Gentile, Gomer, Ahab, the Caucasian, consistently questioned him, Adam, Shem, Samson, Solomon, the copper-colored skin brown race, the Negro, with her words, attempting to know the source of his strength and his connection to celestial and all things. She, Delilah, is male and female physically, but anything symbolic of will in esoteric language is referred to as male. Anything that does the will, create, or manifest the idea, and also the will of others is referred to as she, the creative aspect. So we understand, though the Caucasian usually gets the complete blame, we know there are other entities at play who are the source of these ideas. Daniel 8:24, and his power shall be mighty. This is the Gentile, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and shall practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. Judges 16:17. He told her all his heart, and said unto her, There has not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarene unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak, and be like other men. Samson the Semite, the copper-colored skin, told her, the Gentile, his thoughts, the secrets to his strength. He had not done anything morally to disconnect him from the divine. He was born under law and is connected from birth. And as a Nazarene, he has followed all immutable laws of the Most High God. Nazareth is also Azareth, a location of higher state of consciousness, symbolically, and is also an entrance to such a place here in this reality. Judges 16:17. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he had showed me all his heart. Then the Lord of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. Notice lords is not in capital letters as when we speak of the Most High. It is in lower case, because they are the lords of darkness. When the Gentile Caucasian got all the information she needed from Samson the Semite, she called the leaders of the Canaanites, the Philistines, and the black nobilities. These are the leaders seen, who were the connection to the leaders unseen. And the Caucasian became the face to the world who carried out their will, both seen and unseen. And they gave her the economics she needed to control the world, and the other 4 laws, moral, social, political, and your food. They had already given the Caucasian the economics to complete this task. Keep in mind, based on Ephesians 6:12, the Gentile is just a pawn. The real power are those spiritual forces of wickedness on the lower 4th dimension, or extending their power down to the 3rd dimension to aid Delilah in rule over Samson, as shown in Daniel 8 and verse 4, where the Gentile is mighty, but not a result of their own power. Keep in mind, Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, which most of you know nothing of. Judges 16:19, and she made him sleep on her knees. This means to pray. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she caused him to pray to her God, the Caucasian Jesus. And she called for the Pope, the Vicar of Christ, or Jezebel. How did the Pope get the name Jezebel? A Jesuit priest who, by his law, does the altar bell procession before the worship of the principalities. And because he began to pray to other gods, Samson's moral connection was cut off. The head of the cross, along with his 5 divine laws, also cut off from his God and the divine. He was also cut off from his 7 chakras, and Delilah the Gentile began to afflict the Negro the Semite, because Samson had become degenerate and become weak. Degenerate to have fallen from a high state. Again, remember, the Gentile, his power shall